fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Section's very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Yeah, so we're using the VRS Direct Force Pro this year. We have a wheel adapter right here, so I'm using the rim I used last year. But the motor right here produces a lot of power, a lot of precision, and it helps me, just feel the car more, feel the car a lot quicker. Especially, this week we're at Sonoma. I can feel it, when it hits the curbs. Any little change in the car, the wheel reacts a lot quicker than your typical gear-driven or belt-driven wheel. For example, if you're on oval and the rear tires break loose, force feedback on it corrects a lot quicker than your typical wheels. There's no resistance pretty much as far as being able to make quick corrections on the wheel. So all that, paired with how precise the wheel itself is, it makes it to where it helps you as a driver, to find that extra hundredth or thousandths of a second. So when you're getting a direct drive wheel, especially the VRS wheel, it's heavy duty. It's got good weight to it, it's not a plastic toy. It feels like you can really beat up on it. A lot of people have issues with their plastic gear-driven wheels just kind of breaking after a couple years. This thing just feels like it can go forever. The forces are really strong where if you might have to let go of the wheel if you get into the wall. You can adjust all that with the settings on it and stuff, but the wheel itself doesn't play around. It's got way more strength than you could ever need, and that's what makes it good, that you can adjust that down to whatever the car needs. So initially you'll be able to get the controller box and the motor together, and eventually you will be able to add a rim onto that option. They'll also be including a button plate on it to put on the rim to have all sorts of different buttons and functionality. Also, pedals are coming, so that's a pretty big deal as well. Hasn't been covered too much, but the goal is to also have pedals to go along with the Direct Force Pro. So that's pretty exciting. The wheel feels good. It feels very much like a real world steering wheel. You just kind of feel like what you would imagine the car to feel like. A real steering wheel in a car is very smooth, it's very direct, very quick, and that's what this wheel feels like.
For this Easter long weekend Club Day Masters special event. It's different cars, it's different format, but we've still got many, many great drivers and hopefully a very entertaining evening ahead of us here this Monday night on SimSpeed. I'm David Haynes. I'm joined by our producer, Jay Kennedy, doing the double duty. Jay, we're looking forward to this one because Daytona on the road course is high speeds. Any track in the skippies is big slipstreaming. Are we going to see 3 wide? Are we going to see 4 wide? What's the limit tonight?
Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to see. I know we've seen in the past lots of 3 wide racing and 3 wide across the line, so fingers crossed we see something similar. We know this track produces really good racing in the Skip Barber, so these drivers out there on track in this car should be good fun combo. Looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
I've just been watching a little bit of football at the MCG under lights. They've got a lot more light towers here. A lot more, and they're expensive to run. But here on Sim, we don't got to pay for that. They'll be on all night, lighting up the start-finish line and all of the oval.
That's not the right track map.
No, we're going to go to Calder Park, maybe. I was about to say, beautiful continent that was. I'm not sure it's where Daytona International Speedway is.
Let's try this one.
Try another one. That looks like it makes more sense. Florida's underneath there somewhere. Yep, it is on the Atlantic coast at Daytona Beach. Moderately central Florida. Easy to spot. It's a circle, 2.5 miles in circumference. But the road course that we're going to be racing on tonight, there it is, with the bus stop, with the infield horseshoes, with a big, difficult braking zone into turn 1, and of course that critical run out of the infield and up onto the banking. Current configuration since 1985. I think the bus stop's actually been a little bit tweaked since 85, but most of it very, very much the same. 5.7 kilometers. And then your key overtaking opportunities, of course, turn 1, turn 3, through the bus stop as well. Anti-clockwise in Daytona Beach, Florida.
It's a pretty cool track, and one that we see very, very often for racing in, obviously, Aussie Car Skip Barbers, but track that we see throughout the year in sports car racing. We had a fantastic race that we broadcast on Saturday morning in VRS GT Sprint with Rubens Barrichello in there. So yeah, been pretty cool to watch racing at this circuit. We know that it's going to provide a very, very good show as we get qualifying underway.
Yeah, exactly. No reason for an iRacer to not own this track. If you like turning left, it's an absolute must-have. If you like sports car racing, it's an absolute must-have. And if you just like any kind of racing, it's one you should have. As you said, qualifying underway. One big session, everyone out on track together for 15 minutes, and that's actually already causing a little bit of friction. Knowing how powerful the slipstream is, positioning in the pack could mean all the difference.
Yeah, exactly right. You want to be in the right place with drivers around you, but you don't want to be too close that you end up running into them while you're trying to do your lap. You want to make sure that you're basically 5, maybe 6 tenths behind coming out of the bus stop chicane on your flying lap, as Lee Harrison has a little bit of a moment there coming through turn 1 into the infield up to the International Horseshoe. But yeah, it's around about 6, maybe even 7 tenths of a second that you gain from the bus stop right up to the start-finish line in draft. So you want to make sure you time that run perfectly. If you can do that, you're going to find yourself a heap of time, and it will provide you with a very, very good lap time.
Looking here at the 26th of Lee Harrison, because it appears he got out of pit lane quite early. No one in front of him. It's looked like a clean lap so far. This is going to be the first one we see on the board. I tell you, there's a couple of drivers further back who aren't going to put one on the board this time around. They're just using the first flying lap to jockey for a bit more position, and I did see quite a bit of smoke in turn 1 from Smothers as well. So this is going to be the benchmark time for Lee Harrison this time around. Assuming it gets cleanly through the bus stop, you've got to be wary of your track limits there. For everyone else, it's not quite so plain sailing, at least right now, early on.
Lap times are looking around the 2-minute 10 area. So if anyone can break that 2-minute 10 bracket, they're on for a pretty good lap, especially with the way the draft plays out. But grid position probably means the least in this race than it will in any other race a lot of drivers do. Because the draft is so strong, you find yourself that you can be in a position where you can gain spots and move your way through the field just based on your positioning with the draft. So qualifying probably doesn't quite mean just as much as it does in other races for this one here at Daytona. Means something, but it's not quite as critical.
And with all of that damp rag on proceedings, let's see the first time from Lee Harrison. There is the line, cameras ready, not just for right now, but for the finish. 2:11, immediately eclipsed by Sean Doyle. There's Vantagiato. Caleb Hydes is in the midst of the pack, and he's going to go to the top for the second. And these guys were working together. Byron Phillips. And who was his teammate in the pack there?
Not sure who in the little group he was with was Dylan Burse and Connors, but yeah, not sure. Philip Paradiso is about to cross the line and finish his lap though. Those lap times that they did, I don't think were overly representative. Burse was 20 seconds off the pace.
No, I saw them park it between the horseshoes in the infield just to try to set up potentially. Are we going to pick someone for a lap?
Let's do it.
Aaron Oliver. Aaron Oliver Racing. Weird seeing him in a car that doesn't have a big penlight on the side. For a year now, everywhere we've seen him racing, that's been what we've seen, isn't it, Jay?
Yep. So throughout this series, throughout the Circuit XLE series that we are broadcasting mid last year, always in that black, red and gold Audi. But of course, this isn't a Audi, this is a Skip Barber, and probably doesn't have one made, so I'll have to go and find someone hanging up a nice skin for this car. Surprised we didn't have one already.
Yeah, shock. Well, here he comes to the line to put one lap into the books and probably to start another. The tyres, well, when you do that, I'm not sure that's them at their best through turn one, really managing it. But generally speaking, you'd want to stay out there, burn the fuel, and even for the first 3, 4, 5 laps, the tyres will keep giving and getting into their grippiest pressure window.
They do take a long time to come on. I mean, they are road tyres, so they do take a little bit to come up the temperature and to be at optimum levels. So we'll see how long it takes before we start to see some extremely good lap times. I mean, the lap times are pretty good already, but we will see them drop even further right up until the last second when they cross the line. Oliver coming through the final corner of the infield. Back out to the entrance of NASCAR Turn 1.
Yep, pops back out onto the banking. Very dutifully following that yellow line down at the apron. It reminds me of being a kid and programming those Lego robots to follow a line.
Never did that.
Yeah,
Missed out on
well,
that
you
one.
probably remember when Lego was invented.
Wow. I expect that from Ryan, not from you.
In his absence, I don't know. You're gonna have to keep me and him apart, lest I start, you know. Ooh, that was a little sketchy on the change of direction in the bus stop. Looked like he kept it all within the track limits, but I think he's not happy with it.
He's backed out of it.
Might have picked up a slowdown at the second apex. That's one of the places that it's tempting to cut a lot on the way in. Otherwise, it'd be the fourth apex. You know, left, right, left. Up, down, be a select start or something. But yeah, the fourth apex or the second apex are the ones that it's very tempting to get in too hot and go over the top of and get penalised for cutting the course, which of course you don't want to do in the race. You also definitely can't afford to do in qualifying.
Yeah, it's a very good point. The bus stop chicane is very tempting to cut generally, so look at the times change there. Harrison jumped up sharp, jumps up to P2. Third man in this drivetrain, Sean Doyle, completely improved on his lap. So
He was towing them around, wasn't he? Obviously, you can tell from this rear-facing camera. That's Harrison right behind him. So if Lee Harrison improved, he's got to write the thank you card to Sean Doyle. Here's Byron Phillips in whatever that livery is. Is there a person's face on that?
yeah, it looks like something that's got something resembling that.
I'm concerned.
I am too.
Now, I've seen the helmets that have a person's face stretched onto them, and that is disturbing. But onto a whole car is something else. Obviously, a bit of teamwork going on here. Corey McFarlane, and who is he
Caleb
got?
Hyde. So it looks
in
like
front
Caleb
of him?
Hyde has moved from Iridium across to Drop Bear. We'll get told that after we should have known.
Well, if it's not in the correct place on the SimSpeed Discord, how are we to know?
Exactly. Caleb Caleb Hydes and Corey McFarlane here are working very, very well. They're drafting together and switching places at the right time. Caleb Hydes is going to go quicker again here as McFarlane goes straight ahead through the bus stop chicane. And look at that, tucking back into the draft. His teammate. He's drafting pack in his gear too. It's a fairly big train of cars.
He's going to get one slipstream, but how about a second one? Oh, nearly comes down on him, does Lee Harrison. Now we're going to go up, get a little bit more slipstream. The closing's been pretty massive. And they are 3 wide in qualifying, let alone the race. Two teammates have tried to tow each other, but yeah, that is... I don't know what you're doing there, McFarlane. Cutting across the beautifully sculpted Daytona sign in the grass.
Jack Boyd stopped on the circuit. Back in the field a little bit. P7. Won't be too stressed about that, I wouldn't think.
The time flies. They've only got time for 2 more laps left. There's a couple of cars on pit lane that I'm not really sure are going to get out and be able to improve. It's all about who's in a good spot right now, I reckon. It's unconventional tyre warming from Byron Phillips there.
Did finally get a lap in there and goes P4. P5, I should say.
Is it a rat?
I don't know what it is.
Detective David's gonna.
It is.
I'll get onto it, and if I think you don't want to know, I won't tell you.
There's a high chance that I won't want to know. Shenanigans are starting to happen though in this qualifying session. 18 of about 21 drivers have already registered a lap time. Ben Caplice has not registered a lap time, which is a little surprising. Actually coming back out of the pit, so he's going to have 1 attempt to get a lap in. Well, he might get 2 if he's fast to the line. Sean Doyle's done.
Yes, it appears to be a mouse or a rat. I can't tell the difference.
There is a plague at the moment, so...
Yeah.
Adam Sharp. Very, very good qualifying from him at the moment. 9.2. P2. Be very, very happy with that. I think we'll go any quicker on this lap because he's got no drafting help.
It's a good thing we're not at Road America then, because it's got a bridge made out of cheese. They'd never get past it.
They'd just crash into it, wouldn't they?
I don't know. Hardly bears thinking about. A minute left. Vartanian's going to improve. There's a couple drivers still no time, and this is one of them. Mikola Masuria? Sure. Liam Caplice and Greg Holmes without a time, and that's I think that's qualifying done then.
Yeah.
For Mika. Definitely not going to get out and get around to start a time, even if it wasn't a hard cut to the end of qualifying. Whatever the situation, you park it in the last 2 minutes, you're done.
Greg Holmes is having some connection issues, which is probably why his time hasn't been registered. Jack Boyd will be the next time we see once qualifying completes, the time completes, that is. But he has no draft help.
Another one of our regular Club Day Masters drivers that we're very, very used to seeing particular livery on. And, well, not present on the Skip Barber for Jack Boyd, the normal road racing. It's looking all right here. He's decided the apron's the way to go. For no draft or anything, a 210 is very, very respectable. And it moves him up to 9th. You got the likes of Byron Phillips, Corey McFarlane, Mario Vartanian all together. They're going to come to the line, and it could improve if they've been playing too much shenanigans. Aaron Oliver gets something pretty representative as well. Oh, here they come. This could end poorly. Yeah, pick and choose all you can eat buffet on where he wants the slipstream. And it does take him to pole position. So Corey McFarlane says goodbye to that wheel and hello to pole.
Very, very good lap there. Philip Paradiso about to cross the line. 12.7. That is his best. And one last driver to come across the line. We said that Liam Caplice would probably have one lap. Exactly what he's got.
Tell you what, that last lap set the world on fire. I reckon. Oh, if I brought my bike to Daytona, I could pedal a lap in about that time.
You wouldn't be able to get it up the banking.
Yes, I would. Fight me on that one. You wouldn't be able to walk it up the banking.
No,
Here we
right.
go. Is it going to be a valid lap time for Liam Caplice? It's going to be 17th, and I could ride on the apron if I felt like it.
Very good.
Be a 2.5 mile velodrome if I wanted. That's everyone, even with some time left on the clock here in qualifying at Daytona. This Easter long weekend special event for Club Day Masters. Well, go ahead and lock it in. It's going to be CCs on the front row with Corey McFarlane and Caleb Hides. And the next row, Adam Sharp and Shannon McMillan. Got Lee Harrison and Byron Phillips, 5th and 6th. And then Mario Vartanian, Dylan Burse, Ivan Vantagiato, Jack Boyd, Luke Bergens, Sean Doyle. That could be some fireworks around row 4, 5, 6 there. Some fierce competitors in what amounts to the mid-pack with our 20-ish car grid. Then Aaron Oliver, Hayden Jackson, our boy Nick Skariev, Anthony Collins, Liam Caplice, Matthew McMillan, and Philip Paradiso, the last driver with a qualifying time. We saw Mika Lamessiere out there, but did not get a time. And Greg Holmes needs to disable his VPN and, I don't know, stop buying weapons off the dark web or whatever it is. And so we do get a rolling start, thank goodness, because standing starts on the banking really, really don't work, especially in cars like this. I'm disappointed with the pace car, though. When we first got the Porsche 911 GT3 pace car, beautiful, it was really, really exciting. But now I'm just craving that sedan.
the unbranded iRacing car.
They should make a 1-to-1 scale model of that thing and do one of the Chevy real people, not actors commercials. Like, what brand do you think this
Have you
is?
noticed
And then
that there's a
all of
person
them
up
will be
there?
wrong. Well, so there is.
What is he doing?
Oh, it's not Barney, it's his back-straight cousin.
There we go.
Jay's had a couple festive beverages, but he is going to get the camera at
What's he
back
doing
straight
up
Barney.
there?
I don't know.
He's got holding a green flag, doing nothing. There's a plane.
Just a bit of plane spotting, because there goes a Delta 737-800 on its way to Atlanta. Or is it just arrived?
No, it's taking off. No, that was taking off. No, it's just arrived because it's just. You can still just see it in the background.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now switch on your mobile phones, but please remain seated until the seatbelt light has been shut off. The time here in Daytona is 7 minutes past 9. You have options when you fly. Thank you for choosing iRacing Airways. So they've arrived, but we're about to get this well and truly underway. A couple of drivers there just checking their steering, getting ready for 60 minutes on the banking, on the infield, on the road course at Daytona International Speedway. And they're obviously ready to get rolling and get the action going.
Be interesting to see how it plays out. Very, very aggressive group of drivers out on track. And cars that don't like being touched by other cars. So it'll be interesting to see if we see all the wheels stay on the wagon throughout this race.
All our questions soon to be answered. Pace car holding the 100 kilometers an hour on the banking, and a few of these drivers already thinking about those cold tire pressures and trying to get them up so they'll have grip to attack in the early laps and grip to stop and make turn one when they have to dive down off the banking and into the infield for the first time in front of Daytona Rising and the giant stands at the start-finish line. Well, back straight Barney was watching them away. Front straight Barney has the green flag in the air, and he is gonna wave it now. The cameras flash in the dark, and we're already 4 wide across the line on our way towards turn one. You hold your breath at a moment like this because it won't always end well. Now they go a little more 2x2, and it's contact between the first two cars into turn one. Someone's around. The inevitable takes place in turn one at Daytona.
Always going to see something like that. Shannon McMillan, Ivan Vanteggiato, and Mario Vartanian all look like they're out of the race. But the rest of the field, relatively clean. Jack Boyd actually stopped. And is he beached where he is? Possibly.
Sure can happen, but McFarlane and Adam Sharp through cleanly. Caleb Hydes from the front row is back into fourth. Dylan Burst mega moves through turn one as well, and there's more action. Lee Harrison avoids getting tripped up too badly.
Caleb Hydes was going a little bit aggressive, and I think Philip Paradiso just collected him just at the last second, but the front few now starting to fan out. Dylan Burst trying to take the lead away from McFarlane, which he will probably do just based on the draft, but tell you what, I'd probably prefer to be Byron Phillips in a situation like this. Oh no.
It's happened immediately, trying to pass on the apron. 4 wide, heading down towards the bus stop, lap one.
They do realise that this is an endurance race, an hour.
Wow.
Maybe not.
Byron Phillips slips through into lead, but still side by side between McFarlane and Burst. Means Adam Sharp is going to try to pick them off. McFarlane might have picked up a slowdown. He's dropped back a bit.
That was close. That was close. On board with Adam Sharp, you just almost saw that front wing into that right rear wheel of Dylan Burst. Byron Phillips is going to skip away if these guys aren't careful.
A little scruffy for our first tour of Daytona. A bunch of cars on the tow hook, but 15 of them still out running at the moment. Bit of a scare for second place. That's not going to work, and he's lost the nose on the pit exit wall there as Adam Sharp. He's not alone. Cold tyres for the second time of asking into turn one.
Drivers have got to cool their heads a little bit, I think. They're all driving very, very aggressively, but they'll cool it down very soon, you would think. We will have a safety car to bring them all back together later on, so just because drivers are down, or maybe even down a lap at the moment, they will still be in this race later on.
Lee Harrison looking for third with Sean Doyle, one of the big movers from 12th on the grid up to third already, Mr. Doyle. We've got no camera of him this week.
No cameras this week.
Oh, for shame.
We've got Zoom set up for tonight. We'll have it back next week.
Just wanted to watch the beard grow in real time. Well, it's side by side for third. It's side by side for the lead. And that's clean as you'll ever see for third. First and second.
It's the same.
Ooh, then Harrison gives it back. Surprise. Touch and go behind them. Oh no.
Adam Sharp loses more parts to his car.
Yeah. The outside would go Greg Holmes, who did the start somehow. Here is Phillips and Burse. Ratatouille and Ratatouille.
Well done. I like that.
It's the kind of thing my uncle would say.
Shannon McMillan having issues as he's rejoined the track.
Yeah, that's a new car after lap 1, turn 1, and already he's having some problems with it. How has that thing made it back? He's been scraping up the concrete all the way down all of the pit boxes. Track management are going to have a word with him about that one. They're never a fan of that kind of thing.
League 2 more than likely will be working together. A 3.5 second lead, so the secondary group really have to sort of work as a 3-man drafting pack. Don't fight too hard for positions, pass each other cleanly on the straights, and use the draft to their advantage to catch back up, because they can catch that sort of gap up if they work together, but the way they're driving at the moment doesn't look like working together is in the vocabulary right now.
Well, Harrison was playing nice with Doyle, but I think the spoiler in the pack for them at the moment is Hayden Jackson, the driver whom we ride on board with at the moment. We'll see. I think in this situation, if you were doing the pack thing, you'd wait for Doyle to be able to slipstream up to Lee Harrison. That doesn't happen. Maybe Doyle will let him go on this one. No? Maybe? No?
No, they're going to fight. And what this has done, Burse and Phillips now up to a 4-second lead.
One more at the bus stop here.
So
That...
Matthew McMillan through on Greg Holmes.
Yep. Well, my friends used to have some pet rats. I can't remember what their names were. Otherwise, I'd bring that one up for these. But obviously, they are working together at the moment. And work their way to the front.
I can see the rats in them now.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
sort of where the eyes are.
Yeah, it doesn't work so well under the lights. But the nose is the tip of the nose cone, and then there's ears and eyes, and the tail doesn't quite work either. Doesn't really work in the nighttime, just like sequins don't work in the daytime.
Lee Harrison's lost those 2 spots he was ahead of, and now it's brought in a couple of extras to the party.
Really made him the fly in the sandwich on this one.
Rick Bergen's and Corey McFarlane in this battle now too, so a 5-way fight.
Just doesn't know what to do with Doyle and Jackson going side by side in front of him. Lee Harrison is trying to be patient, but just like, I don't know what to do with my hands here. But in the end, he's going to sneak down the inside of turn 6 on these guys. It is a bit of a cluster. It is still a bit of a mess. Here.
Yes, need to really work out what they're doing.
Sean Doyle definitely knows what's up, though. He's raced plenty a draft fest in the Skip Barber before. He immediately rolls up high and washes his hands of this 4 wide, now 2 wide, coming down towards the bus stop. Yeah, he rolls out so early because he knows what's coming and how long is still left in this race.
And the safety car as well, so I mean, there's no real point fighting too hard. This is about just understanding how much the draft works, practicing the drafting advantage that you can get, and knowing where you want to place your car for that final run on the last lap or last 2 laps. Fighting hard now is really pointless considering there is a safety car pit stop still to come to close the field up. If you're on the lead lap when the safety car comes out, you're a chance of winning this race just based on the draft. Have a look at Sean Doyle, how much of an advantage he got there. 4 wide across the line, I don't mind it.
He goes and picks up a whole bunch of positions that he's probably going to be able to defend down the inside at turn 1, depending on how close or scary this gets. So that was the experience there, to let everyone go at the bus stop and then pick up the double slipstream and then lead them all through the infield where everyone's not going to be able to pass him so much. And if he thinks he's the fastest in this pack, be happy to be behind on the banking, but lead through the infield. And he's going to go just snatch one of those inside tyres like it's so easy to do with a road tyre.
I would think McFarlane would be the fastest in the group, so McFarlane lead them through this bit and then tuck in behind him. That'd be the best way for this group to move forward, would be my thinking, based on qualifying times. But in qualifying, as we sort of said, doesn't mean a huge amount at Daytona, because the track is just so unique in that the drafting makes everything different once you get onto these big wide open spaces of the banked corners of Daytona.
Yeah, for the reasons we highlighted at the time, qualifying can absolutely be a bit of a mixed bag as well. I would have thought in a closed qualifying session, we would have seen Sean Doyle in the top 5. But, you know, in the open qualifying and in these conditions, it's all a little bit different. He wants to be second this time through the bus stop for these guys. Farland. Proper Daytona 500 stuff though, because you can just sit in the pack now, and it's only the last couple laps that are really going to matter. It's all jostling and jockeying and gamesmanship, and well, here comes the safety car.
Yep. Probably a little bit earlier than a lot of drivers expected, but safety car out after only 12 odd minutes of racing.
It's going to pick up Dylan Burse and Byron Phillips this time, or are they going to have to go around one more? Oh, there it is. Is he going to get held up? Going to have to wait, let the safety car back through?
They'll be fine.
Yeah, we're
that
good.
was Jack Boyd just getting past the safety car, so he stayed on the lead lap just. You would think everyone will come into the pits now, regardless of their position. Everyone will come in, top the fuel off with what they need and go again. Could be wrong, but that would be what I would expect to do under these situations, under these circumstances.
We're going to see. Ooh, interesting news from race control, Jay.
Yeah.
Possibility that this might not be the only safety car this evening. So, recapping, Dylan Burse leads from 8th on the grid. Byron Phillip is in 2nd from 6th on the grid. Sean Doyle is in 3rd from 12th on the grid. And then Corey McFarlane, Lee Harrison, Nick Bergens, Hayden Jackson, Aaron Oliver, Matthew McMillan, and Mika Lemassurier in 10th.
A few drivers that have come into the pits. Looks like Greg Holmes has brought it in, still having his tech issues, so we'll be trying to work on that. Who will pit? I'm going to say everyone.
That's the call from Jay. We'll see as they've all gone back past Backstraight Barney. Oh, he's a bit of an imposter. Moment of truth. Judgment hour is upon us. Pit lane should be open. Oh, that's a good flashing light. Wow. What does that mean at pit in?
It's open.
Okay. Well, everyone wants it. Remy and Scabbers first on the plane, and then someone else in the top 10. Staying out, Matthew McMillan.
I don't quite know why you would stay out. You don't gain anything. You're only going to lose out. But his decision is to stay out. Van Vantagiato staying out as well. Not a bad call from his situation, being back in the field. He'd
already pitted earlier as well because of damage and such. They've come together on pit exit. Is that Adam Sharp? No? Yeah, who's that? Mate. It's still pit lane speed limit there, but I think there might have been one or two drivers that tried to jump off the limiter inverted commas a little early.
I remember that used to be full speed back.
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting. That's only changed since after the iRacing Daytona 24 hours in Feb this year. Hold on, if we get a replay. Ta-da. It's trying to slot in between Doyle and that breaks the suspension. Who's in the number 5 car? Yeah, Aaron Oliver. Does Oliver accelerate past the pit lane speed limit before that? Or otherwise I would have thought at pit lane speed you'd really kind of have to yield in that situation. Well, it doesn't look good. You can actually tell quite clearly that those wishbones are a little unlucky. It's sparking. Oh, well, there we go.
It's back together. Fixed itself.
Interesting. Magic. Jay, do you have a graphic for this evening's sponsors? Because I can't remember them other than Digital Marketing Tribe that we always have.
Yep.
There was...
as well.
Yeah.
And Simworks.
Digital Marketing Tribe, Palmer's, and Simworks for the Club Day Masters Easter special event. Lights are off the safety car. They are through the bus stop. So in theory, we are going racing again shortly. This is going to be interesting, though, because McMillan and Ivan Vantagiato up to first and second. Both McMillans. McMillan Brothers, I believe. So Matthew McMillan leading, Van Vantagiato second, Shannon McMillan third. And then in fourth and fifth is Byron Phillips and Dylan Burse. Or should I call them Roddy and Rita?
I don't know why you would call them that. That one's over my head.
Your kid's probably too young to have watched the children's movie Floshed Away, but we are racing again at Daytona. And for the reasons mentioned, it should be interesting on the restart here. 3 cars that didn't pit right up the front, and then your previous leaders right behind looking very aggressive already. Dylan Burse trying to get one McMillan around the outside. No dice just yet on that one. Down the inside of the first horseshoe, though, will do the trick.
Barry Harrison just lost the front off the nose. We'll be driving around without that, but the way the draft works, it may not affect the car as much as you would expect.
His feet aren't going to be quite as sweaty, though.
Right.
As a concern, another position for the duo of Phillips and Burse. It's wide goes Matthew McMillan. optimist looking backwards from the leader. I wonder if we get a good look at the rat attack. Towards the bus stop there, too wide. Burst has gotten to the lead here.
Oh, someone just popped an engine.
Lee Harrison did. His motor is gone skis.
Oh no! Vince Giotto around. Sean Doyle's involved as well.
And we got a loose wheel with a mind all of its own. You can see the damage for Sean Doyle. I think he's sitting low on the front as well. I think one of those tires is, well, yeah, that suspension is nothing. Gone. It will not turn left. This is the Virtual Racing School replay. Ivan gets tangled first. And then there's nowhere for anyone behind to go. Did it again. This is Byron Phillips. Oh. Yeah. So that was clever of Byron to not expect that someone without an engine might not accelerate. Though a very, very awkward place for it to happen on the first lap of the restart, I must say. And yeah, fourth car tangled, and in the sandwich goes McMillan, and he gets crunched between your two league admins. The fly absolutely squished in that sandwich.
This sandwich does not sound very edible. Burst, McFarlane, Phillips, and Shannon McMillan, the top four. Harrison, Vantagiato, and Doyle all sitting in the pits after that incident right then.
It's going to be interesting now that Dylan Burst, Byron Phillips have been just briefly separated. I was wondering, what's Burst going to do? Is he going to back them up? There's not a lot he can do about it. This is Aaron Oliver very, very sideways in the bus stop in front of Hides. Checks him up, I think.
You've got Vartanian in that pack as well as Shannon McMillan. Caleb Hides says no thanks and backs out of it, and Mario Vartanian looking to make moves.
Oliver in the middle. Lemessier down low. Cameras are flashing.
The cameras flash that much now? I suppose people still use a flash on their phone cameras, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, even back in the day, you'd have to have quite the speed light for it to make any noticeable difference at a range of 100 meters.
It would feel like you'd done something. Jack Boyd's had a good recovery. Remember, he was last at the start of the safety car period, the last car on the lead lap. He's now up into 8th position.
We've got a camera that takes the flash cubes where there was only 4 flash usages, and then you had to buy another. How times have changed for Kodak Instamatics.
Got one of them sitting in the cabinet over there.
Is it a Kodak Instamatic? Huh?
I'll have a look after that.
Okay, fair enough. Still the pack racing we expect out of Daytona here, as it is side by side for Lemessier and Hides. Into the bus stop. Hides goes a little bit backwards.
Slow down.
I want to say yes.
The question was sort of answered about what would Dylan Burst do. He did let Byron Phillips catch up, but Phillips got a slowdown penalty and has had to slow down a lot of that time that he had caught up. So back to just the two-car tango at the front between Burst and McFarlane. They're lapping around about half a second slower than the likes of Jack Boyd. So we could see this lead group slowly catch up if they work together.
Still seems to be a big market for Skippy painters. A lot of work to be done in that field still.
Yeah.
What about Formula V painters soon? Hashtag soon.
Yeah.
Hashtag soon TM.
Very exciting news with the announcement of Formula V coming. Typical iRacing fashion, announce it on April Fool's Day and nobody knows if you're telling the truth or telling a lie, but it'd be very, very cool, very good addition into the calendar and the ladder of racing. Just goes the MX-5, and then above that at the moment is the Skip Barber, but that will slot in that gap in between, which will be very, very cool to have something.
Could even slot parallel to the MX-5, honestly.
Yeah, very true.
In reality, Formula V is a much cheaper car to run than a Global Mazda MX-5. More likely to be a Carter's first. You think a Formula V is faster than the MX-5?
We'll be on iRacing for sure.
I thought the Formula V that scanned was a 1200cc, probably talking like 80 horsepower if you're lucky, whereas the ND2 Cup car is like 160.
Maybe
this is the lead. And if that was the last lap, I think Dylan Burst had his... No, Corey McFarlane had his snout in front.
Yep. McFarlane by 0.003 of a second. Those little runs are good for the drivers to set up so that they understand where they need to be on the last lap. Understand how much of a run you can get and use that run to your advantage. This is a pretty cool little pack here with Monsieur, Hydes and Boyd. Bartani dropped off, you got to slow down on that last lap, and Aaron Oliver's also checked up and lost a fair bit of ground from these guys as well. Burgeons and Grayev behind are all there together. McMillan and Paradiso have come into the pits for green flag pit stops.
Maybe they've seen a window open.
Possibly.
Tell you one other thing. April Fools announced the Formula V. Leave everyone, wondering if it's real or not. Makes people talk about it. Whereas if they announced it any other time, people would say, Formula V, slow, don't care. It's not the Glickenhaus LMH or the new generation of NASCAR, don't care.
100% right. And I mean, some of the best announcements that have happened for iRacing have been on April Fools as well. Dirt was announced for April Fools. Hashtag Dirt confirmed was April Fools, and it turned out that it wasn't an April Fools.
The video for it was good though. They just need to make sure that.
What else was announced? Last year they announced the USF 2000. Or was that the year before? Maybe the year before.
I think in the last 12. No, I think in the last 12 months.
Who wins the unofficial race this time? McFarlane.
Yeah, on the high side again.
So he can lead coming out of the bus stop and lose the lead through turn 4, NASCAR 4, and then get it back by the finish line. So he'll be memorising that for later on in the race.
And so too will Dylan Burse,
Yep.
who will still be a little hard to fool in 30 minutes' time. Some of the cars behind them, Byron Phillips is still just in the no man's land, and then Jack Boyd done well to work his way forward, I think.
He has done a very, very good job. Also set the unofficial fastest lap of the race with a 2:09 flat. Which he did when he was
Dang.
from the rear of this little group and when he propelled himself to the front. We'll probably see that broken in the last phase of the race when we see the Bolt draft pack come back together again after the next safety car. Which it sounds like we're going to have a second.
I'm surprised we didn't have it when Ivan blew his motor.
Thought he might have just thrown a sneaky safety car.
I totally meant because of the ensuing crash.
Oh, right. Well, we should have had one on lap 1 then. You just
True.
noticed that,
True.
that Mika's car is missing that front bit off the nose as well, so he'll be having nice cool feet. No issues with sweating.
No, and not with a air temperature of 19 Celsius, track temperature the same, obviously.
We're officially in the second half of this race as well. At the line that time. McFarlane by 600ths of a second.
If it's going to be that close at the end, you're going to want that little nose cone.
Just to give you that extra little bit for the photo finish.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not the rallycross layout, mate. But he is wearing a rally livery. Is that not Colour Sign Senior's Ford Focus livery?
Does look very similar to that.
It's got Movistar on it. That's what tips you off to the difference between it and all the other Valvoline liveries.
And Minardi on it as well. Martini on it even. It's been a long day. Pit stops again. Anthony Collins. Coming in for a green flag stop. When will we see everyone else in? We don't know. We honestly have no idea.
Journey into the unknown for all of us. Phillips is closed on the lead though. That's key. Burson and McFarlane going back and forth has let Byron Phillips join the pack.
The fuel save as well that Byron Phillips is doing too. Massive clutch and coast into the bus stop then.
Interesting.
What's the reason you want to do that? Shorten your pit stop time, gain an advantage in the pit stop, come out ahead of your competitors.
Or not make another stop after this. I know, we're going to see.
I have a feeling we're about to see a purple lap here.
You reckon? I think he had a good slipstream to the bus stop. He's had a good slipstream to the line. It's a 2:08.8, fastest lap of the race for Byron Phillips.
Very, very good time. What that's done too, it's meant that that secondary group are now 4.5 seconds back. They were about 2.5 behind Byron Phillips, and now the 3-car group will be able to pull away a bit further if they work together, which I would think that these three would be working together quite well.
What was the name of the rat in Bear in the Big Blue House?
I don't know.
Okay, because that's a little older. It's a little closer to your generation.
No, I never saw that one. I was a teenager when that was on.
awkwardly in that you were too old, but your kid is too young. It's fallen right in the gap between. Mind the gap when alighting and departing. Okay, so Corey McFarlane leads for the minute, followed by Rat Damon and Rathu McConaughey. Here's the chasing pack. Next three. The drop there for Caleb Hides. It's the Carlos Sainz World Rally for Mika Lemassiere. And for Jack Boyd, he's just brought that thing out of the paint shop blank.
We've butchered poor Mika's name all night. We apologise. But I'm sure at one point we've got it right. Probably only one.
I feel like I've gotten closer as time has gone on. I haven't said Mika Lemasseuse. I mean, I haven't. Yeah. Touch and go on the brakes into turn one for the leaders for this pack. It's looks all good.
In lap time wise, this group around about a second faster than the group ahead, so they've got it back down to 3.6 seconds between Boyd and McFarlane. So from fourth to third is now closer than it was the lap previous by around about a second.
Who trained the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Splinter. Master Splinter. I knew that one. I was waiting for that one.
Yeah. And I knew that was like right in the middle of your generation. That's a great view of the back and
Yep. We've
jug.
talked before about that bottle, haven't we? That bottle of substance that just sits there. What is it?
It's got a hose going into it, right? From up top.
But only one.
On the left. Is it a coolant overflow? We'll have good time to look at it for the next 2 laps because with about 20 minutes left in this one, 22 minutes left, we have another safety car. And is the safety car driver related to Barney or are they just work colleagues? Because both of them have a bit of work to do now. Barney's going to be waving the yellow flag. Whoever it is, iRacing safety car is speeding off pit lane to make sure he catches McFarlane and the Rat Pack. Oh no, here's one for you. What was that Aussie show with the puppets? And it had
The Ferals.
yes.
Rat named Radis. He was the leader of the bunch.
So I think the song goes. I'll refrain from. I wouldn't make you. But,
What was the cat's name?
well, I know the rabbit was named.
Mordigana or
The
something?
rabbit was named Mixie, which is like short for myxomatosis, which kills rabbits.
Yeah.
So it's sort of ironic. The cat had the longest career of all of them because it ended up on Totally Wild or whatever.
Yeah, it had a spin-off career, didn't it? And then Darren was the dog.
He was room temperature IQ.
It said that in the song, didn't it? Darren is a dopey dog. The fun things we talk about on a sim speed broadcast. If it was a true endurance race, we'd be talking about food and whether pineapple goes on a pizza.
Oh my gosh, Lorenzo Bondo, stop it.
I knew that would have been your conversation all weekend.
No, Lorenzo was also. It was mainly me and Connor Matic. Yeah, let's recap that top 10 before they get to pit lane, and we see if anyone's going to pit for a second time, and if yes, from where. Tires doesn't really matter for these cars. It's all going to be about, do they have enough fuel to get to the end from here? If they don't, you're going to want to pit the earliest opportunity underneath this safety car. So burst leads from McFarlane, from Phillips, from Jack Boyd. Then it is Mika Lemassurier, Caleb Hydes, Luke Bergens, Aaron Oliver, Nick Skariev, Mario Vartanian, and then the rest of the field, Liam Caplice, Shannon McMillan, Anthony Connors, Lee Harrison still finds himself on the lead lap. So too does Sean Doyle and Ivan Vantagiato. And Philip Paradiso currently off the lead lap by 1. Same for Hayden Jackson, and then a bit further for McMillan and Holmes. I do feel like after the pit window here, probably see Paradiso and Hayden Jackson be able to get a lap back. But, well, they all want the opportunity for a bit more fuel, Jay.
Stragglers. Who will get out first, though? That's the big question. You would think it'd be McFarlane, based on the pit box location. Maybe not. Byron Phillips gets the race off pit road at 1.
Yeah, past the green cones that denominate the pit exit, and the new other traffic cones that replace the aggressive and dangerous curbs to tell you what line you got to take on pit exit. Yeah, Byron Phillips. 2 seconds less fuel than Corey McFarlane. And a lot of fuel for Dylan Burst, who now finds himself back into 5th.
Aaron Oliver had a very long stop.
Okay, and it was a short one for Liam Caplice, who has then jumped about into 6th. We didn't need those cones anyway. It's time at a safety car for Barney's track worker cousin to get out there and replace them.
Liam Caplice has now done 4 pit stops in this race.
What a
So I'm fairly sure he pitted.
He made the green 3 laps ago.
Yeah,
Or I think he's then come in with this one and had a much shorter stop than everyone else, and that's actually jumped him up a bunch. So it's sort of a IMSA style, where if you think there's a safety car coming, it can actually benefit you to pit before it happens rather than pit with it, because the pit lane doesn't open until everyone's bunched up.
Yeah. Interesting phase we're in now too, because Byron Phillips, Dylan Burst have been separated again. So it took them a little while for those two to get together. Corey McFarlane was able to hang with
separated.
Yeah, separated. Well done. I like it. No, I don't really.
I don't.
Well, I'm always up there for a good pun, but I don't know if that was one.
SqueaksandNibbles.com's list of rat names suggests good names for pairs of boy rats are Ben and Jerry, Jekyll and Hyde, Itchy and Scratchy, Trucker and Tracker, Digger and Dozer, and Rambo and Rocky.
feel like these two would be a bit Rambo and Rocky, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So we've got an extra lap under the safety car.
That's because they are still processing a couple of wave rounds here, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Philip Paradiso and Hayden Jackson given the opportunity to come back around the field and maybe slot up to the back. So Paradiso back on the lead lap. Hayden Jackson still a lap down. Matthew McMillan 4 laps down. Greg Holmes 5 laps down there, still running. And Adam Sharp, unfortunately, is out of the night's proceedings.
I recommend naming your rat with something that starts with R, so you get that great alliteration like Rachel Rat, Rosie Rat, Robbie Rat. I'm going to close that tab now. Okay, good, it's gone. Wave rounds in progress. Safety car speed is just shy of 100 kilometers an hour. Skip Barber can easily get up to 200 on the banking that makes up most of this lap. So I think by the time we get green, they'll have just about worked their way around.
We should have around about 7 laps of racing. I find it ironic that that flagman's holding a yellow flag, considering that corner is notorious for having yellow flags being
Well, he's not waving. That's sort of... He needs to be holding that safety car board.
I haven't raced at this track for a long time, but I remember that from when I raced, and apparently it's still a thing now.
Yep. Who's that going?
Jackson.
Going now? Okay.
He's now back on the lead lap.
Roof lights are off the safety car. Aaron Oliver or someone else. I spotted someone doing a bit of weaving behind the safety car here. Maybe worried about their tyre temperature at this restart. Yeah, and as for that long stop for Aaron Oliver, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I'm not sure as to what's going on there, whether he's accidentally taken tyres by mistake, whether he's filled the car up to 100% full by mistake. Maybe that's why he's weaving a bit, that he's taken tyres by mistake and now he's wanting to get some temperature into those tyres because they will be rock hard with now Philip Paradiso has been waved by the safety car again. And it's actually going to put him a lap ahead of everyone else.
He's leading the race. Everyone is a lap down to Philip Paradiso now.
Race control might have done goof there as we get the green flag to restart because Philip Paradiso is the leader. The safety car is still out on the circuit, but Paradiso the lead car. A little bit of a mess up there as that's very, very close between McFarlane and the 23 of Lemieux. Butchered it as well.
Well, Philip Paradiso is enjoying his moment in the sun. Byron Phillips, Corey McFarlane, Dylan Burse are on the hunt with 11 minutes to go to catch Paradiso, who's been given a bit of a free kick.
The guys behind have already gained a second and a half on him. I don't know where you'd want to be in this pack.
It's all quite interesting in the remaining minutes here. Four wide? Yes, 4 wide. Or for what we think will become the race lead on the way down towards the bus stop.
4 wide behind as well. Oh no.
I'm trying to be surprised. Poor Mika is a wheel off the wagon. He's not alone. That is sparks flying on the lights, under the lights at Daytona. Bergens is now a 3-wheeled Skippy pilot. Jack Boyd, Dylan Burke, Ian McFarlane and Byron Phillips all seem to have clean cars still at the moment.
Yep, and that car, Bergens, was the car that made contact with Mika, so that's why he was slow.
Pitted, by the way. So this is now the race lead between McFarlane, Burst, Phillips and Boyd.
Yep.
Did Paradis just go up and jump the start? I don't see that he got waved.
I don't either.
Well, that's a lesson learned, Jay, that if someone not waved around jumps the start by enough, Barney just waves the green flag for them.
Yep. We'll have to remember that for future because someone else will try that, no doubt.
Yep. Maybe you can have a word with someone and get Barney some training.
Yep, I'll shoot some emails up. Oh,
But it's on, that is on the lock stops to catch the slide. Tokyo Drifter Jack Boyd needs a little bit of Eurobeat for that one. I thought he was going for the wall, but he managed to quick hands on the steering wheel to just warm his tyres in a very interesting manner.
Was there contact? Wheel-to-wheel contact with someone there that caused him to run that little bit wide, but great save nonetheless. Oh, don't bump draft. Doesn't end well. You're the car that's doing the pushing, it often ends worse for yourself. McFarlane's going to go from 4th to 1st here just with overspeed alone. That's out of it.
Not for him. Lee Harrison in yet more strife. I think he's kept it off the wall. No, hard to say.
The front doesn't look too good.
No, it doesn't. It's had a scrape or two.
All of that learning that the boys did earlier in their little 2-car tango and where the draft from, it probably means less now with 4 cars in the lead group. But McFarlane's just going from last to first through turn 4. Will lead them across the line with 4 laps to go.
He chops down and parks it in front of Byron Phillips and Dylan Burse as well. So that's his strategy. Trying to throw 2nd, 3rd and 4th to the wayside, see if he can get away from them through the infield here. I doubt it, but it's not a bad thing to try with just a couple laps left to go here at Daytona.
He's going to have to work very, very hard to pull away and break a gap. I mean, the draft starts to take effect at around about 1.5 seconds in these cars at this track, so doing it without a little bit of fighting behind makes it very, very hard, and it looks like the guys are sort of working themselves in the line a little bit. They're not fighting too hard. If someone's coming through, they're not defending the position too aggressively, except for turn 1. So it's interesting. Just notice too that Jack Boyd doesn't have the little light on the back of his car that everyone else seems to have.
Maybe
Is that
it got
just for
knocked
me?
off. I'm seeing that. Or is it just... it might be blending in.
It's definitely no light. Bump drafting before. Byron Phillips is going to go from 4th to 1st.
It runs well when someone is down below the apron on the way into the bus stop here, but anyway.
Look at Corey McFarlane, got out of the throttle, was happy to sit back as the 4th car in the train, last car in the group.
Bet you he leads the line.
Yeah, agreed.
He's got the double toe off the Rats, who are going to try what
Oh no,
predictable results.
could see that coming. Then there were 3.
Okay, what about Paul Ratajcic?
3 laps to
Fallon
go.
leads to the line. Caleb Hydes has lost 5 seconds. He's out of the pack for the lead. He's with... Sorry. Yeah, Byron Phillips. That's not looking good for his car there, actually.
It probably has a little bit of suspension damage from the way the car jolted down to the apron. So he'll have to limp that car home over the next 5 minutes. This battle for the lead between the 3. I did say earlier in the lap, or the lap previous, that bump drafting doesn't usually work well in these cars. I don't know why you would want to try and actually properly bump draft in them. They're not really designed for it.
I think they're designed for it to not happen.
Well, yeah.
No one designs a single-seater car with bump drafting in mind.
100%.
Red Bull, like, who knew he's not sitting in his office in Milton Keynes, drafting up the nose cone with the idea that, yes, this is how it'll connect to the diffuser of the car in front.
Bump draft engaged. Oh, no, not going to happen. So Dylan Burst should still be able to hold on, but we'll see if there's any damage to his car from that, because if he doesn't gain up in the next little bit, which he's got a fair bit of overspeed, he breaks out of the draft to not use that momentum. McFarlane also getting out of the throttle, but Jack Boyd's smart to it, and he gets out of the throttle further.
Now it's gamesmanship. Did you call 2 to go last time? I think it's 2 to go this time.
Yeah, 2 to go this time when they cross the line.
This is an interesting situation for Boyd there, where he's got the slipstream, but he's kind of boxed down below Dylan Burse. I think that's what led to the bump drafting before, is the 2 rats were stuck down to the apron. The one with the slipstream couldn't pull up high. So they decided, well, let's see if the bump draft works. The answer was no. We could have told you that. But hey, they wanted to give it a red hot go.
We probably could have provided the video evidence from previous attempts at it too that it doesn't work. The battle for 4th is getting very, very heated as well between Sean Doyle, Caleb Hydes, Shannon McMillan and Anthony Connors. So that'll be one to watch over the next couple of laps as well. We'll to see Liam Caplice and Byron Phillips still fighting over 9th and 10th. Nivan Vantergiato in P8, all on his lonesome, the only driver in the top 10 not in a battle.
That's a shame. Backwards from McFarlane. He's got a good spec map on there, really working under the lights at Daytona. It's shiny. Shiny in places. Ooh, a lock up a little wide at turn 6 from Burst. Not that that matters a whole lot. He's still coming up onto the banking. Well. Backwards from the leader at 2nd and 3rd, who are going to close up big time in 5th gear. The lead car always starts topping out a little bit past 200 kilometers an hour, and those behind can a real big run. I'm afraid of rats.
Notice that nose cone actually was moving a little bit there. It's not actually connected properly.
He's just having a... Oh, McFarlane stays high. He's going to let Burst through.
That's pretty good.
The other side has the tail. The tail wraps around the engine cover on the left-hand side. Oh, McFarlane's got his nose in front. This time around, as they come towards the white flag, start the final lap of the race. Club Day Masters Easter special event, Easter Monday, and the Skip Barbers at Daytona. Really, it all just boils down to the gamesmanship on the way into the bus stop and out of the bus stop on this lap, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about who can work themselves in the right spot at the bus stop, be in the right spot at the right time, and also with the right momentum coming out of the bus stops. All well and good to be third car back out of the bus stop, but if you don't have the right momentum at the same time, or if you have too much momentum, it doesn't bode well for you as well. So you're right, 100% gamesmanship right now. Looking forward to seeing how it comes down to the checkered flag here between these three. That next group of cars isn't too far back now. They're only 3 seconds back. Just noticed too, Mario Vartanian has shortcut the circuit, and now he's technically the leader of the race. So Mario will get a penalty from iRacing Race Control.
Big thwacking black flag for that maneuver. Here we go. Okay, this is staying a little high from McFarlane. He often doesn't want to be the leader into the bus stop, but everyone behind is wary to that. And it would be interesting to see the top three back off enough that let Sean Doyle or someone else get him. Yeah, McFarlane doesn't want to lead, but eventually Dylan Burst can be convinced to lead the pack through the bus stop. And then you see how much more McFarlane has backed it up so that he can get a good run at Burst. Jack Boyd could be in a good spot here, but I think Dylan Burst has just gone a little early on that one. Here it goes. Corey McFarlane around Dylan Burst. Jack Boyd to make it 3 wide for the photo finish. Boyd's got speed and he's down low. I think Boyd could get this nose in front for Jack Boyd. Third into the bus stop. He takes the win in Club Day Masters special event on this Easter Monday. Clever stuff from Boyd. The pack behind, all excitement, and Mario Vartanian. Less said the better.
Yeah, I think he actually may have cut the course because he was low on fuel, so that is why we saw him do that. But congratulations to Jack Boyd. 10th of a second victory. Well done to him for that. And very, very tough finish for everyone out there as the fireworks go off here at Daytona.
The fireworks went off a little bit more before the checkered flag, but afterwards, there you go, lighting up the night over Lake Lloyd. Launch them off a barge in the lake.
There you go.
And the results, this a little provisional with a couple drivers left to cross the line. I reckon when some of them cross the line, we'll actually see Mario Vartanian drop. He was 4th.
I agree.
Across the line, but yeah. That one's only written down in pencil, and I can see an eraser going to that one maybe later when you cut an entire half of the lap. But Jack Boyd, no ifs or buts about that one. You saw McFarlane and Burst playing games, and he brought a trump card to that one. Great run through the bus stop, picked the draft just right, and takes the biscuits at Daytona. Jack Boyd wins from Corey McFarlane ahead of Dylan Burst. I'm going to pause for 1 second. It's Matthew McMillan and Greg Holmes cross the checkered flag. And Mario Vartanian gets sent to the Shadow Realm, and Caleb Hydes finishes 4th, Shannon McMillan in 5th, Sean Doyle in 6th, Anthony Collins in 7th, Liam Caplice in 8th, Byron Phillips 9th, Hayden Jackson rounds out the top 10.
And over the page, we will find Luke Bergens in P11. Mario Vartanian looks like a 2-minute plus penalty and finishes in 12th position. Mario Vartanian, Oven Vajjagiato in P13 ends up a lap down as well on the final lap. Something happened to him on that last lap. We've got Lee Harrison 2 laps down, Philip Paradiso 2 laps down as well, and then the DNFs. Aaron Oliver, unfortunately, DNF 3 laps down in the end. Matthew McMillan did cross the line to finish in 17th, 3 laps down as well. Then Greg Holmes, Nick Scrave, Mika Lemasua, and our last driver was Adam Sharp.
Well, here's another lesson for us, Jay. If you're on the lead lap, on the final lap, and you're going to run out of fuel, just cut the infield, because no matter how much time they add, you'll still be scored on the lead lap.
Exactly.
Wow.
Bad ploy. We've learnt lots tonight.
Indeed. Indeed we have. I've got a couple of people standing by we could have a word to, Jay. let's see. Well, Jack Boyd knows where to find us, but we've not got him. So, third place finisher, Dylan Burse, right up there in that pack at the end. It's always a game of chess and checkmate with the slipstream so powerful here.
Yeah, it is sort of. I mean, I ended up being in the lead out of the final bus stop, but I mean, usually on the last lap of the race, that's basically the worst spot you can be, knowing draft around here. So pretty much I just got slingshotted, but end of the day, it was an awesome race. Like, really good.
Not a little bit cheesed off that you couldn't get your paws on the win?
I mean, not too fussed end of the day. It was still an awesome race. Like, it doesn't really go to anything. Just glad to have had a really good battle with everyone.
Was a cracker, wasn't it? Special event here, obviously, with the 2 safety cars, some questions around the fuel. What did you make of the strategy? What was going through your mind with the strategy calls today? Because we had some question marks about fuel consumption, about pitting with those safety cars, but obviously you rolled down pit lane with both safety cars.
Yeah, I had no clue. I just felt like taking full fuel on both safety cars end of the day. Didn't want to risk it. Just want to, you know, play it safe basically. Try and get a decent result, and ended up doing it. So yeah.
A lot of work back and forth between yourself and Byron Phillips. What was the communication there?
Oh, not really anything. I wasn't in Discord with them. I was in Discord with other people at that time. But yeah, how'd you like the cars anyway? They were pretty sick, eh?
They were definitely different.
You could say that. But, I mean, it's good to have different Sear every now and again. I mean, takes the seriousness away a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty
Not
good.
ones you had made up, they're just ones that you found?
Oh, I just found them on Trading Paints end of the day. Went scrolling through before the race and yeah, just sent it. It looks pretty sweet, so I thought I'd run it.
So got your whiskers on that one. Well, you definitely, it seems like you had a fun time mixing it up for the podium there, slipstreaming more laps than others. Any closing thoughts and thanks from Daytona today?
Yeah, basically, I'd just like to thank Clubby Masters for putting the event on. I'd like to say sorry for the bit of a messy bump draft to Byron Phillips. That shouldn't have really gone like that, but I mean, end of the day, stuff happens in racing, unfortunately. And I'd also like to give a thanks to you guys for the broadcast and also the team Vanderbilt Sim Racing.
Awesome. Dylan Verse, third place today. While we were speaking with him, second place, Corey McFarlane showed up, and it feels like it would be rude not to. So let's get the drop bear boy, Corey, here. Do you feel a bit hard done by on the last lap there?
Nah, happy with that. Didn't expect to be able to stay up there with Dylan and Jack, so it was good to finish second. And
car park going into the bus stop on the final lap there. Not everyone wants to lead every time.
Yeah, I was in a call with Burst, so it was just trying to keep ahead the whole race. And then when it came to the final lap, it was just like, yeah, whatever happens, happens. So I decided to let him go. That was probably the best chance, but didn't work out.
Might have been the case. It was just the two of you, but Jack Boyd, Joker in the pack there, slipstream off both of you to beat you to the line. What was it like knowing that of the podium battle, you were the only one with a decent paint?
Yeah, well, didn't want to scratch it. Had to keep it looking good, so yeah, just tried to be as clean as possible because I saw what happened with the bump draft with Burst and Byron, so I didn't want to have a repeat of that. But yeah, me and Burst practice our bump drafting a fair bit.
Saw some other cars run out of fuel. Was that ever going to be a concern after the second safety car?
No, I don't think we were tight on fuel, but it coming into the second pit stop, we weren't sure if we were going to have enough to the end, so we were thinking we might have to fuel save, but the extra safety car lap we thought would be fine, so didn't really worry about it too much at the end.
Well, congrats, second place. We're going to see you again for some other Club Day Masters.
Not sure. Dylan and that are trying to get me into it, but not sure if I will. Maybe.
No firm guarantees one way or the other. Corey, who are you going to thank today?
Thank you to Drop Bear Motorsport. Once again, providing me with a lot of help and get me into all these series. Thanks to Dylan for working together with me this race, and thank you to also Caleb and Kobe for the race we did this morning, which I'm very happy with.
Coolio, see you around.
So,
well, that is second and third place in this event here at Daytona, and we'll wrap up our coverage on SimSpeed of Club Day Masters Easter Monday special. Always a delight when you bring low horsepower cars like this to a wide open track like Daytona. The draft equalizes everyone, gives everyone a shot at winning, and it's about playing it smart, being in the right place at the right time, and that was Jack Boyd today. I don't know if he really led any laps except for that last one, and sprung up into the win at the right time, and I'm sure he's pretty happy with that one after coming from 10th place on the grid. We'll say good night and goodbye here on SimSpeed though. I've been David Haynes, Jay Kennedy alongside and producing. Don't forget, Club Day Masters is back this same time next week as the regular championship events resume. See ya!
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?